Welcome back to the Allstate Sugar Bowl Prep Football Roundup. Time for our Allstate Sugar Bowl interview of the week. You know how we do this. If you listen to us regularly, in the 8 o'clock hour, we do an interview courtesy of the Allstate Sugar Bowl, usually with a player or a coach that's had some experience playing or coaching in a Sugar Bowl. And this week is no exception. We've got joining the program tonight former Auburn and former NFL quarterback Jason Campbell. For those of you that remember, he was the quarterback at Auburn from 2001 to 2004. And in 2004, that's when the Tigers had a 12-0 regular season, and then they defeated Tennessee in the SEC championship, but wound up actually playing in the Sugar Bowl because they were knocked out of the BCS championship, because at that time they only took number 1 and number 2. But he played in that Sugar Bowl against Virginia Tech. He also has got a couple of records. He held the record for the longest touchdown pass in Auburn history, but that was broken by Cam Newton a few years after Campbell left Auburn. And he's also still second in school history in passing yards, yards per attempt, completion percentage, and touchdown passes. Not a bad resume for a college quarterback, and that was good enough to get him a first-round draft pick in 2005. He also played for about a decade in the NFL. So with all that, it's my pleasure to welcome into the program tonight former Auburn and NFL quarterback Jason Campbell. Jason, really appreciate you stopping by on the show tonight and taking some time to chat with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's always a great time to get on and talk about some old times as well as some new times. So glad to be on the show.
All right, let's start with the old times first. That Auburn team that you on, great team, undefeated regular season. Y'all play in the 2005 Sugar Bowl against Virginia Tech. I don't know, some people call it the field goal game because it seems like nobody wanted to score a touchdown. Y'all come out, man. Y'all get a pair of field goals. Your defense, and that defense that y'all had was stingy, man. They only allowed less than 13 points a game. But after you stopped Virginia Tech, finally you drive 92 yards. But unfortunately, you get another field goal, so it's 9-0. But then, hey, third quarter, you finally got it done. You connect with Anthony Mix, 53-yard touchdown, 53-yard completion. And then you got the touchdown right after that, 16-0, and that was enough, man. Virginia Tech comes back. They scored 2 late touchdowns, but it was all over. The field goals were enough to win it for you. Talk about and just tell our fans the experience of that type of game, because it seemed like it was going to be a tight game, but y'all finally just kind of pulled away, got that touchdown, and then came away with the victory.
Yeah, that was a memorable season, 2004. It was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get a chance to play in the national championship, but at the same time, we knew we had unfinished business. We still consider ourselves national champs because, anytime you go in the SEC, you go undefeated, and you have to beat a team twice in the same year is really hard. And we have to do that against Tennessee. And to go undefeated in that division, and then I think right after us, we ended up winning like 7 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. The SEC did after that game. So it was hard for us when we got to New Orleans. It was such a great city. We really enjoyed our time down there. And, Virginia Tech was a really good football team. They had played some really good games that year. They had won 10 games, won their division, the ACC, and we knew we was getting a tough opponent. A lot of those guys we played against played on Sundays as well. And I just remember us, getting together and talking the week of the bowl game, and we was just like, hey, man, we've gone 12-0. If we don't finish the deal, all we're going to feel like for nothing. So we want to be considered champions and have an opportunity. We need to make sure that we don't take this game lightly, because we knew we were going to give Virginia Tech best shot, to try to knock us off our undefeated season. And we want to make history. And, we want to be the first 13-0 team in Auburn history to go undefeated at that time. And, we wanted to also be still considered as a possibility as national champs. And so going into that game was tough because you have to fight a lot mentally, as well as like, okay, we got to finish our season strong, and I just remember it was a hard-fought game. We kept getting down to like the 5 or 6 yard line, and Virginia defense was just stiffing, and we'd have to kick 3 field goals early. And then, like I said, later in that third quarter, we ended up driving down the field, ended up throwing a touchdown to Ramashidu on the slant. And that was our only touchdown of the game. But, we had an opportunity there late in the fourth, but we ended up having a turnover when we was trying to put the game away when it was 16-0. Had a chance to go up 23-0. But, it is just a surreal feeling to finish that season undefeated.
Talk with former Auburn quarterback Jason Campbell. Jason, you brought up a good point. Man, this day and age with the transfer portal, the NIL, all that stuff going on, you got to wonder if a team like yours that finished the regular season 12-0 and didn't have the chance to play for a national championship, which obviously wouldn't happen today the way the setup is. But if that happened, you got to wonder how many guys either, one, would not be mentally prepared to play that game, or two, might have just bowed out, man, and just called it a year and went for the draft. But that just didn't happen.
Right. It's a different day and age nowadays. Like back then, guys, we weren't finished the deal. And like you said, we had 4 first-round guys drafted that year off that team. And we had a lot of guys played in the NFL, I think, off the starting and offensive line. We probably had 3 starters there, and all the receivers played in the National Football League for a number of years. And then the running backs, and then myself, we played a long time in the National Football League. So we was very, very talented. Our defense had some talent on it as well, with the Jim Thorpe Award winner and Carlos Rogers, and Travis Williams, who's now the defensive coordinator for Arkansas, was our Mike linebacker. So we had guys all over the field. Jay Ratliff played defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, made numerous Pro Bowls. But you're right, though. This year and day and time, if you go 12-0, you get to the point where you're playing a bowl game, these guys will check out. They would say, I'm not playing, I don't want to get hurt and all this type of stuff before they go try to get to the draft. But back in our time, man, like, bowl games meant a lot. And it meant a lot going into for revenue for your school, but also finishing the season off with you guys that you laced it up with at the beginning of the season. And it meant something. It meant like one last hurrah for the seniors to go out together and play together. And, nowadays we just live in different times where I wish that wasn't the case. I wish guys still took those games serious and still took the mindset I get a chance to play with my teammates one last time if I am going to the pros or something, because you have insurance policies and different things like that. I understand if you're supposed to be like a top 10 draft pick maybe, and it's not a bowl game, it's considered a chance for you to compete for a championship or be in the playoffs. But if you're in the playoffs, you most definitely have to play. Like, that's what you play the whole season for, is to get to that. If you're playing this day and age, but if you're playing a significant bowl game, and, I still think we have that respect to go out there and play. Remember, Bryce Young did that last year.
Right.
Him and Will Anderson did that for when they played in that bowl game, and everyone was just like, they don't have to play in it. And both of those guys still end up being top 5 draft picks. So, the narrative is different, just all about how you're competitive as a player.
And look, the Sugar Bowl win was sweet. The perfect season, even sweeter, but some bitterness probably about not having the chance to at least play in that game, because you got to figure y'all were 12-0 regular season. You, as you said, beat Tennessee twice. You finished the season 13-0. And thankfully now the program that we have in place would allow for, the top 4. It's going to change in a little while, but it would allow for those teams like that Auburn team that year to have at least have the chance, right, to play for that national championship on the field, which y'all kind of got snubbed out of that year.
Yeah, that's all you want to ask for, is just the opportunity, to have a chance. I think we always say our season was the reason they started the whole playoff talk anyways. And they finally implemented it after about 6 years of going back and forth about it. But it started all after that season, because everyone was kind of like, how could you leave a undefeated season, an undefeated team out? And, USC had beat us the year before, but who cared about that? Because the year before that, we lost our offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino, that went to Louisville for the head coaching job after our sophomore year, and which we had USC beat out there in the Coliseum. We actually dropped the pass to win that game. But then our junior year, we tried to keep the offense the same. We tried to promote someone that, never been an offense coordinator or call plays, and we tried to do that, and it just didn't work. And, so then our senior year, we got Al Borges, who's been our offense coordinator, who's had really good offenses, and he knew how to put all our talent together and knew how to bring it all together. And we was just a totally different football team. And we wanted to play USC in a bad way because we wanted to rewrite the taste in our mouth from the year before, and especially, the year before we thought we had them out there. So we wanted that opportunity more than anything, and not to get that chance on a national stage. It was a little bit of bitterness, but I say this, it's hard to be too bitter, though, when you can finish a big-time program in the SEC and go undefeated and have this lifelong memory to share with your teammates and share with the families and everything as we continue to get older. And just like we talked about a while ago, you talk about competitiveness. I think too much nowadays is driven by money. What I mean by that is, you have a lot of guys, these young kids, man, they think about more so about the money than they do about relationships, than they do about building something with people, what they do about continuity, stability, things that money can't buy. They kind of let those things be forgotten. And it's unfortunate because you look back and you sit out of some games, or you miss some games, or you don't even have the opportunity to, do something that you wish you would have experienced. Experience is something you can't buy. You know what I'm saying? Like you can pay for an experience, but you can't get that if you're playing football, playing in front of 90,000 people. A person that's a regular fan can't go pay as much money they want and still get out there and play with us. They can't do that. God has blessed us to have the ability to go out there and play with this athletic talent. And not for one day or 1 second did I take that for granted. And anytime I had a chance to play, sometimes I played hurt, even in the league. I wanted to go out there and give my best because I know this talent that God gave me, he couldn't give it to somebody else. So I wanted to make sure I used all of it in the right way.
C.J. McCollum, the Pelicans point guard, just actually made a statement like that a few days ago where he said, look, I've been given the gift and by the grace of God to play this game. And that's what it is. It is a game. And I've been blessed with so much talent to play it. Why wouldn't I want to play it every single day? Because my lifespan is short and my career is even shorter. And any day that you tell me I got the chance to go play a basketball game, he's like, I'm not sitting out for rest. I'm going to play that. So it says a lot about the mentality, and it's still around. So one of the things, though, I wanted to talk to you, Jason, quick question about this. Great team on that 04-05 team. A lot of guys, as you said, played on Sundays. You got yourself. You had two great linemen, Marcus McNeil, Ben Grubbs, also defensive lineman, Jay Ratliff, DB, Carlos Rogers, two great running backs, Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams. He went by Cadillac. So in the age of NIL today, you think Cadillac gets an NIL deal with the local dealership in Auburn or what?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Alaska's a huge deal with a local dealership in Auburn, Cadillacs, and he probably called Ronnie at the time. His nickname was H2 Hummer. So at that time Hummers had came out, he might have got one. And I would hope that I probably could have got a Campbell Soup one.
Yeah, that's true, Campbell Soup.
Yeah, but NIL wasn't around. We was there, but like I say, things always get better for the next generation. So. Yeah, we certain things we wish we could have gotten back then, but at the same time, we were still blessed because sometimes, NIL is great for these young guys and to be able to put money away, hopefully, that they're saving a lot of it because you just never know if you're going to have that shot at the next level or if how long you're going to play at the next level. But I definitely say for us, because we didn't have that, it was all about the team. And I think nowadays coaches have to fathom whether the kids are about the team or the kid is about his own individual brand because he's trying to brand himself to get deals and money. Instead of kids understand, like, look, the more I work hard and the more I work hard for us to win as a team, the more everyone is going to achieve. And that's true, because we didn't have a Heisman winner my senior year. I finished 7th in the Heisman, but we didn't have a Heisman because we wasn't trying to just brand ourselves. It wasn't just about me, how many passes I'm going to throw. It wasn't about Cadillac and running, how many times they're going to run the ball. They have to split carries. I have to share the ball as well because we had two really good running backs, so we couldn't throw it 40 times. Our receivers have to be unselfish, and understand, like, hey, we ain't going to throw it 30 times sometimes. We're a balanced offense. So guys have to be so unselfish, and it worked out for all of us most part because we all still got a chance to do well for ourselves. And even the guys that didn't play the pros, most of them are coaches now, or they are involved in businesses and doing really well for themselves because they understood what it took for hard work, and they learned something, and they learned how to take what we had during our season and during the grind of football, but they knew how to implement it into the real world. And I think that's the difference, where now some of these kids are not even thinking about their education. I'm like, dude, it's great to get NIL, but get your degree too while you're there. Finish your degree. You know, have some on. Like, don't just think about the money all the time, because I'm telling you, that money gonna leave you faster than you will it. So, you know, if you're not focused right, and you're not handling it correctly, I was just like, so what are you gonna do when you run out of it? And you're gonna look back and say, dang, I didn't go get my degree. You know, when you could have got it while you was there. And then on the flip side of it, you should have been saving that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's just things we try to implement to these young guys, man, that they do have to deal with a lot more than we did, social media and all the different aspects of it. So, you know, there's some differences in our generation, their generation, but, you know, that's why it's up to us to kind of help these young guys through this new roller coaster.
Well, we got Jason Campbell joining us on the program tonight. Jason, we really appreciate your time tonight, reminiscing about old times, talking about the way things are now. But I tell everybody, in order for you to get off the show and for the interview to end, I had to take the bar exam, so I got to make you take one too. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds of true-false questions for Brad's bar exam. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, true or false? You grew up in Taylorsville, Mississippi.
True.
Your dad was a basketball coach.
True.
You originally committed to Ole Miss in high school.
False.
You were a multi-sport athlete in high school.
Correct. True.
When you got to Auburn, basketball coach Ellis had your locker room ready for you to play basketball, but Coach Tuberville nixed that.
Yeah, true.
You got your degree from Auburn in public administration.
True.
You were drafted in the 6th round of the 2005 draft.
False.
You were the 3rd quarterback in the 2005 draft behind Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers.
True.
You played 15 years in the NFL.
False.
You are still Auburn's winningest quarterback of all time.
True.
There you go. 30 seconds. Answer them all correctly. Congratulations, Jason. Get your honorary bar degree sent in the mail, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Jason Campbell, of the former quarterback of the Auburn Tigers. Appreciate you so much for joining us tonight, Jason. Really glad to have you, man, and good luck on the call this weekend.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me on, and like I said, have a great weekend. Enjoy your time, but thanks for having me.